Hello and welcome back to Past the Pop Culture. I'm Mr. Fenn, tagged along with Mr. Ricky.
What's up, guys?
Today we're going to be kind of covering the entirety of Spider-Man No Way Home. This is going to be spoilers because it's hard to review without spoiling it. so
Yeah.
let's start off strong. If you didn't hear last week, we gave our ratings already, but let's go over it again. I gave it a 10. Ricky, what do you give it?
Like a nine and a half.
Okay. Do you feel like you still agree with that rating, or did it change?
You know, what, if anything, it's just more of a solid nine. I think it's nine and a, but yeah, like nine and a half. I think is pretty good, but I think it's a solid nine, kind of like a 9.5. Not to say that Spider-Man wasn't amazing, but there's like small problems here and there. But honestly, I really don't care. Like, I just really don't give 10 out of 10s that much because little nitpicks, I guess. But that's it, really.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, I think pretty much everyone's giving it nothing below 9, right? So everyone's
Yeah,
correct.
a lot of people liked it. I think it's probably the best Spider-Man movie we've gotten.
hmm
Probably one of the strongest MCU movies. Um, and it's so crazy. I'm still trying to process the movie, man.
Oh
It's just
yeah.
crazy. I don't know. It's just trying to process like what we saw on screen, man. Like you couldn't have told me in the early 2000s as a kid going to see a Spider-Man movie that we would get this. And I think like that's really awesome like what we got.
hmm
And I don't know, man. It's surreal, man, just to be here now. Like after waiting so long, trying to avoid the spoilers, trying to avoid all the leaks, trying to avoid social media in general. So that's why
hmm
we were kind of offline. Cause man, like there was so many spoilers out there. Like right now, if you haven't, if you haven't seen it, there's like people just throwing up spoilers on TikTok with no warning.
Yep.
It's just straight up like, and it's just like I'm so glad we got to see it now because normally I usually wait a couple days before I see a movie,
hmm
typically. But now of course that we're doing this, I typically try to go see day one just because it's just so many spoilers. And yeah, so it's crazy. It's just so crazy. The response as well to this movie
hmm
is amazing. And I guess like to kind of just go into it a bit more, No Way Home bought in $260 million on its debut. Second biggest debut in history, beating out Avengers Infinity War,
Woo.
which Spider-Man also starred in, and Avengers Endgame is still holding the number one spot. But that's amazing that while basically being in he's almost, I mean, was he in Endgame? Because he got blipped. I don't remember him kind of showing up at the end.
Yeah, he really
So
wasn't in it that
basically,
much.
so like being in two out of the three top movies, like that's kind of crazy, man. Like that just shows like the power that Spider-Man has.
hmm
And it's crazy. Now just sitting here, man. I really don't know.
It's
Like,
it's it's still hard to believe like
mhm.
how good it is. And it's
Why,
just like
what's up,
how
Pinky?
how in the world did they incorporate like everything so well? Have so many villains so like all at once, so many,
Mm-hmm.
obviously spoilers, but three Spider-Men. It's just like how? It's like it's so good. It's
You
like
know,
what do you do after this? Like how do you top this? I don't think you can.
yeah, how are we gonna like what's next for the MCU? How are we gonna top this? And it's just I don't know, man. It's just I'm just in shock like of how they were able to pull this off. And
Mhm.
I don't know about you, but I really like how they tied in all three Spider-Men,
Mhm.
and in their own way they kind of gave closure to like the characters and stuff like that. But before we get
Mhm.
more into that, who were you most excited to see in this movie, I guess, out of the three Spider-Men?
But that's tough. Probably Tobey Maguire.
Mm-hmm.
I
Who do you think
cuz
gave Who do you think like gave like the most though to the movie, like in terms of like
Andrew
like
Garfield, like
Toby or Andrew?
Andrew, like by far.
Yeah.
Like and like because I know one of the topics we're going to talk about is like people are trying to get another Amazing Spider-Man 3,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of agree with that because after this, like Andrew was, I felt like so much better in this
Yeah.
movie than the last two that he was in.
Yeah. because like it is kind of like a movie of the century. Like it
Hmm.
really was. Like I think this movie was generational,
Yeah,
and it was just like it's crazy because
exactly.
I don't know how to word it because it's like this movie is like the movie our generation will remember, and I don't
Hmm.
think future generations will really like understand the impact that this movie had
Yeah.
because they didn't grow up with all three Spider-Man. And some
Hmm.
of the people who were watching this one, they didn't grow up with the other two or only grew up with Garfield or, and then or only grew up with the Tom Holland one. So
Hmm.
it's very interesting like cuz we grew up with that, as like, early 2000s, 90s kids like that tied the whole generation together. And like I
Hmm.
think that's really amazing that they brought that all together. I know that you were a little harsh on Andrew's Spider-Man. You
Uh-huh.
had a lot of critiques on it before,
Before,
because
well, I
he was
take
probably your
everything
least
back.
favorite. But my thing is like I liked him as Spider-Man, but
Hmm.
I just felt like he was given a lot of subpar material. I mean, you had like the emo Green Goblin and everything basically in his movies, and it was just he. I think he was a good Spider-Man. Still, Toby, I grew up with him. Tom Holland, I think he's an amazing one. I would love to see Andrew Garfield get a third movie.
Hmm.
I'm all for it, but yeah, apparently there's gonna be like a whole little hashtag campaign, and they're gonna see if we can get it. I don't know what because
Yeah,
yeah,
but
like
but,
yeah,
but
like
like,
because
do
go ahead.
do we need an Amazing Spider-Man 3? Like, I know we want it because like how good he was in the
Mhm.
movie, but it's like, why? I don't know. I mean,
I don't know, man. Maybe
I'm.
maybe we don't deserve it, man. He was. It's like that one meme. Is like he was a hero, but I just didn't
Yeah,
see it at the time. Like
and no,
and
that's how I feel. He was.
it's just like he was so amazing in this, and not to say that he didn't bring that kind of energy in the first two movies that he
Hmm.
made, but I think he's really matured as an actor as well, and I think that he really loved the role. I just think it was just bad material he was given,
I
and
agree.
it just they I think by giving him a third one, it's a good redemption. I think like with the scene, well, actually, I don't want to go into that because we're gonna end up talking about that other stuff later. But I think it's just he had so much impact to this movie, way more than I anticipated him to get to this movie.
Hmm.
And it's just I know now people are kind of like, oh, all the Andrew haters are fans now and blah 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 and this and
True.
that. And it's like, but that's just a testament to how good he was. Like
Hmm.
he was funny, charismatic. He was Spider-Man. They were all Spider-Mans, and I loved how Toby was just a mentor, and it was just perfect, man, for
He's the
me.
old
Like it
man
was crazy.
Spider-Man, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. The youth
You're the
pastor.
youth pastor.
I love that line so
uh,
much. But like, what was like, and then chat too. I'm also interested to see like, but what was your reaction to them, like to seeing them, like that scene with
I,
like
I
Ned, and he's like getting. I mean,
I
I
knew
don't
it.
know, like
I
what.
knew it as soon
You,
as
yeah.
Ned did that circle and like that Spider-Man turned around, I was like instantly like almost started crying. Like my heart was
Hmm.
racing. And like when
Yeah.
he popped out, like I knew it was like who it was, but like I was just like freaking out. Yeah, and then like
Yeah.
when Tobey Maguire just shows up, I'm like I'm surprised I wasn't bawling, but I was, man, my
Yeah.
heart was like about to like explode.
I was literally like thought I was gonna be in like manly tears just dripping down my face. But I was just in so much shock and awe. I just didn't know how to react. I was just like, what? Like,
That's what it was. It's
what?
just
Like,
like, I mean, because for
because
me,
the whole
sadly,
audience.
yeah, because for me, sadly, it was spoiled that Toby was in the movie, because of
Hmm.
stupid YouTube. But like, even if I knew he was in the movie, like how they like introduced both of them,
Hmm.
and then it's just I don't know, my body freaked out.
I just
like,
didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to react. It was like sensory overload for me, man. Like I just was like, what the heck? What's going on?
yeah.
And then it was just so crazy because so many actors brought their A game with this.
Hmm.
Because I know a lot of people had critiques with like Zendaya's character of or their interpretation of Mary Jane, which I've had some critiques of, but I think they really fleshed her out as a
Hmm.
character and made her a lot more important to Spider-Man's development, which I really wanted, and that was
Hmm.
like my main critique is that I felt like she wasn't as important of a character as she should be. And like again, Ned, just amazing. I always liked him, but especially in this one, It's
Don't worry, I
just
won't
so
kill you.
crazy.
Man.
And yeah, like the bit where they shot webs at each other and they had kind of like that mini scuffle. It was just amazing to see that. I love that Toby one though, because it's just like the wisdom and like how they're all like, "What? You could shoot spider webs from your actual like arm and
And
stuff,"
then
and
Tom Holland's
they're
like, "Can you
freaking
shoot it
out.
from anywhere else?" Or
Yeah,
just,
like I loved it, and it was so much fan service, and it just shows like how much that they actually pay attention to what's going on in the fan base, to what people are saying, to what people want,
hmm
and it's just like because even just the meme of William Dafoe, which was amazing in this,
oh my
it's
gosh,
just
yes.
he is the Green Goblin. I do not know who could play Green Goblin that would be on par.
Did you know he
But
did
I
his own
love
stunts and everything?
he did his
Yeah,
own stunt,
I saw
his
that today.
own his own stunts. I mean, he's like what 66 or
Yep.
something like that, and he was like, "Nah, man, it's like it helps you build a connection to the character and this and
hmm
that." And I'm like, my goodness, he's married to the craft, and it's amazing. Um, yeah, and he was, I don't know, like, but he was just so much more menacing. I feel like in this
hmm
movie, not to say he wasn't in the first, trilogy, um, but it just really like just I don't know, man. Like it's just all that years of experience, basically 20 years later, just culminated into like this super menacing Green Goblin. But at the same time, you just felt that sympathy for him. Like he's just a man who wants to get help, but he can't.
hmm
It's that other side of him, and you just feel, and you simultaneously felt bad, but you hated him for what he did, and it left you so conflicted. And I love the meme of him just going like, "Oh, I'm something of a scientist myself," because like it's like of course if you're on the
That
internet and you know
smile
the
was
memes, like
genuine.
yeah, like I 100% was like I was flipping out, man, when he said that. I was like, no way, he just said that, and like it was just amazing. But yeah, I can't believe like I love that they made Green Goblin the overarching villain,
hmm
and it was just like I don't remember him that powerful or stronger. I don't know, like just how I remembered him as like a kid because I haven't seen the movies. Like he was scary, but like now it's just he really brought like a presence with him when he was just like as Green Goblin. And I don't know, man. You said that was that. I hope they do a Joker
A
movie with Willem
Joker movie with
Dafoe.
William Dafoe.
That's interesting. I don't know about that. I
He's
think
too
that's
old.
something like
He has a big enough
I don't
mouth to do
know.
it though. Like,
But yeah, it was just like it was just fantastic, fantastic work. Doc Ock coming back and like I love the interaction between Green Goblin and Doc Ock. Like you kind of see them and like you got to kind of all see them be like scientists. And then you had like Electro, where he was just funny. Jamie Foxx was like
he was
it was
hot or
just so
whatever, like
funny.
that joke.
Yeah, yeah. And he was like, "Oh man, I love how he helped to hint towards potentially Miles Morales
hmm
when and
Oh
so
yeah, where Andrew Garfield's like, "I'm sorry."
yeah, Doc got the redemption arc he deserved.
He
I
was really
think,
good.
yeah, actually, yeah, you're super right, Inkin. And it's just, oh man, there's just so many things to say, but it's just so many feelings, and it's just crazy, man. Because like everyone's still not believing this movie actually happened. No one knows how to put everything into words. Like
hmm
everyone's still processing that, and it's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like,
I just can't
I
like.
guess
I
go
wonder.
ahead.
I wonder if there's anybody out there that did not like the movie. And like, I'm curious, which I'm pretty sure there isn't, but I'm curious, like, to see why this was not a good movie.
Hmm. All my movie critics. Yeah,
I
you're
mean,
right.
maybe
Because a
yeah.
lot of them are like, oh, well, they're just like, amusement park kind of level stuff. Like, I think
People
Scorsese
that
said
was
that or
so.
something. But I mean, I guess I can see why. Like, just some people are just not into the comic book stuff. I see maybe people hating on it as like a too cool kind of thing for
Nah,
the
but like even then,
MCU.
like even if the people who say they love the Marvel movies and only the Marvel movies, like they can't deny that this is like one of the best Marvel movies, like period.
Yeah, I can see why people have certain critiques on it, and like
hmm
there's definitely critiques, but I think for what we got, it was just amazing. It was so much fan service without it being like overwhelming,
hmm
and it was the right amount. I love the amount that they gave for Spider-Man and Andrew. I thought it was pretty equal, and they had a good portion of the movie given to them. I was kind of
hmm
worried it was just a cameo that they were just going to kind of show up and like, oh wow, oh look, he's in the other universe. You're not the right Spider-Man, and then they close the portal,
Mm.
and then like I would have been so pissed if that was it. And
Then it would have been a bad
yeah,
movie.
yeah, like I was 100% ready for this to be a bad movie in a way, but I don't know, it's just amazing how it hit the hype and then exceeded it. Because
Mm.
we got oh, I can't remember the actor's name, but we got Daredevil. And so what did you think of that little cameo scene
Oh my
though?
gosh, that was so unexpected. I can't believe they did that to me. Like it was so like natural
Yes, Charlie
and just
Cox.
like
Thank you.
Yeah, Charlie Cox, and like I was not expecting it. They were just like talking, all of a sudden he shows up and I'm just like, what the heck? Like I even looked at
Yeah,
Mercedes, I was like, wait, what's he doing here?
yeah,
I don't
because
know how they
I
did
heard
that. It was
about
so good.
that he may be in the movie or that there was like a leak or two, and
Hmm.
then sounds like that kind of got spoiled for me, but I just wasn't sure and I didn't really believe it, but I'm so glad that he was in. Um, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Like it
dude,
was so
it was
like
just so
sudden.
cool.
It was so subtle
Yeah.
that they're just like, oh hey, I'm here, and then they were like, what the heck?
Hmm.
And then like you just can't catch your breath like for like the rest of the movie. Ever since that scene, it's just like, all right,
Yeah.
let's
Ever
get it
since that
going.
scene, the movie was just so quick. It just
Hmm.
kept going. It kept going. It kept throwing stuff at you. And I felt like this was just a really good Spider-Man movie.
Hmm.
And what I enjoyed and what was my main critiques of like the first two ones is that it felt more like an MCU movie rather than a Spider-Man movie. In the
Mm.
sense that because you still had Tony Stark and I love Iron Man, but it's just sometimes I just want to see the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. I just want to see, and it's like because Spider-Man, sometimes it's just he's down on his luck. He's trying to do the good thing, to do the right thing, and even if it may be a detriment to himself, but he's
Hmm.
always doing the right thing. And I just felt like we weren't necessarily getting that with the first two movies, but it seems like we're kind of doing that return to form Spider-Man after this. I
Hmm.
think because there are talks of three more Spider-Man movies, another trilogy. And Tom Holland himself kind of wants a break. Four has been confirmed, and okay, so yeah, like there's this talks. He kind of wants to potentially do like a pass the torch. Maybe see like a Spider Woman, Spider Gwen kind of thing, or he he wants to take a little break from acting, but it
Hmm.
seems like I've heard different things. Some people say, yeah, it's confirmed. Some people say, well, he wants to take the break. I'm not entirely sure, but like, what do you think is going to happen if we get to see another trilogy? What's
If
going to
I
happen?
mean, it's very interesting though that Tom Holland is saying like, yeah, I'm kind of done with Spider Man. I want a break. I want to move on.
Hmm.
But like Marvel says like, no, 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 because they always say
Well,
there's gonna be more Spider Man, but it's with Tom
hmm,
Holland. They're not like
yes,
saying, oh yeah, there's gonna be more Spider Man movies, but it might be somebody else. But they keep emphasizing that it's like, no, Tom Holland is still Spider Man.
Spider-Man,
So it's
and
like,
I think
does he know
this is a
that?
yeah, this is a perfect point for him to take a break. I would love to see him go on to like college and do all that stuff, especially
Hmm.
because I feel like that's very relatable to like me, and I feel like the
Hmm.
character kind of is like growing up, same thing, and it's so much, it's a lot of pressure playing Spider-Man.
Hmm.
I have to imagine it's a lot of pressure for him to just perform every single time as Spider-Man and just kick butt every single time, and I
Hmm.
can see why he would want to maybe slow down or take a little break because that's
I
probably
mean,
a lot of
yeah,
stress.
it is, but I mean, I guess it's one of those things. Like, I guess the fans are selfish and they're saying like, oh yeah, he has to keep being. Like, I'm okay if maybe if he does like maybe one or two and then he could be done. Like, start to
Mhm.
introduce or like sow the seeds for Miles Morales, because like there's no
Yeah.
way they just kind of like hinted at that for no reason. So it's
Yeah,
like
there's no
maybe
way
now they're gonna
they
start
had
working
Jamie
on
Foxx
making it.
say that to Andrew
Yeah.
and that he was just like that was a throwaway line. To me, I don't feel like that was just a
Yeah.
throwaway line. No way, especially with how popular, especially with like, we have like Into the Spider-Verse and another
Hmm.
movie being confirmed and people generally love Miles Morales now, and so I don't see why they wouldn't want to introduce him in some way. I
Hmm.
can totally see it being in like his college arc where maybe in like the second to third movie we get introduced to Miles, and
Hmm.
then maybe by the third one he kind of passes the torch to him, or that they go on simultaneously. Um, I think Marvel knows now that they can have a really interconnected and complicated universe without having to think that the fan base is too dumb to understand what's going on.
Hmm.
So, like, I
Wasn't
don't know.
Miles
I can see.
Morales hinted at already as well? Like I
I
think it
don't
was the
know
very
about.
first Tom Holland movie.
I don't know. I wouldn't remember that.
Oh,
But
I'm trying to
they could
remember
have. They could have mentioned it.
because he was like robbing somebody, and it was a famous singer. What's his name? Oh shoot,
Oh, dude, I
it
don't
was a
know
car
what.
scene, and like he like webbed him, and like what
uh,
was it? Somebody knows. Oh my
okay,
gosh,
well,
what
hopefully
was it?
Jack can help us out there, and then
Because his last
we
name
can
was
come back to it.
Morales, I think, or something like that. I could be maybe I dreamed
Ah,
that or something. I don't know.
you just want it to happen.
Yeah,
You're
I
just
can't
like hoping that
remember.
it. Yeah, yeah,
Anyways, move
but
on.
yeah, like I totally see him like going into college. We're gonna see maybe Gwen and
Hmm.
Harry Osborn. I can totally see that. It broke my heart, man, at the end of the movie where he was just like, "Nah, they're better off without me," even though he promised. He promised, man.
Yeah, that kind of
Like
made me
that's
angry.
yeah, but I get it. You know, it's one of those things. But I don't know, man. My favorite scene though was just when he caught when Andrew caught MJ,
Yeah,
and then you got that closure that he was
dude,
actually able to save,
that was a time where
that he was
like
able to save her.
I was so sad. Like
Ned is
Ned is
turning to
turning to Hobgoblin.
hobgoblins. I don't know.
No, I don't want him to be a
I
bad
well,
guy.
I don't want him to be a bad guy, but yeah, he said he wasn't gonna turn into a bad guy, but I don't know. That felt kind of weird. But I'm sorry, Fen. I didn't mean to cut
No,
you
no,
off. Go
it's
ahead.
fine. But yeah, like that scene, because I think that might be like maybe my first or second. First one, obviously showing up the both of them, but
Mhm.
just like man, when he saved her and like he just like held it in, I was like, oh,
Dude,
it was so
like
sad. Like
that.
I felt
That was
so bad.
closure after like 10 years, man. You got that closure, bro. It's crazy.
That was so sad. Just thinking about it
And
now, it's
then
like, oh.
yeah, dude. And then just I 100% believe that when they filmed the scene
Hmm.
when Tobey Maguire got stabbed, 100% they filmed an alternate scene where he died. And I think they took it out. I'm pretty sure they did. Cuz
There have
dude,
been
I was like
riots.
I would have yeah, I would have rioted. When that happened, I screamed no in the
Oh,
theater.
was
I
that
was
you?
like, "No."
Wait,
Yeah,
did I do that too? I think the whole theater did that.
the whole theater screamed like no, and there was like gas, and I was like, I swear, movie, don't do this to me. I honestly, I would have just broke if Toby died right then and there. I don't know. I would have just like
They
been
would
punched
not
in the
have.
air.
They that no, that
No
movie would be
way.
too depressing. I'm so glad they did not do that. If they like
But
thought about it, fire that guy.
but it's just it's so crazy. Like we got this movie, and I still can't get over the fact. But yeah, like it was amazing how they just fit in all these villains, and everyone got a good amount of time, and characters progressed and were
Hmm.
developed, and it was like such a jam-packed 2.5 hour movie. Like I didn't want it to end. When the end credits rolled up, I was just like, "What? No, that can't
I
be
was
it."
yeah, I was
Even
like,
though they gave
please
us so
more.
much, I couldn't. I couldn't like fathom that that was over. Like I just experienced that. I don't know about you, Fen.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm thinking about it now, and it's like I'm speechless. Like, I don't. Again, like, where do we go from here? It's like I don't want a Spider-Man movie. It's not if it's not like this good.
Yeah, it's like I think we're just gonna get a good classic return to form, down on his luck, on his own Spider-Man, trying to make ends meet, and it's just as we always see Spider-Man doing in like maybe the comic books or something. But I don't
but
know.
not, but
It'll
like
be that.
I don't know, like not to jump a little around a little bit, but like the end credits, uh, for Spider-Man 4, I'm very excited because of the hint that they had, and it's like, is it time
Mm,
for the symbiote? Is it time? Do you think it's time?
I don't know, man. They did hint. I was kind of upset with how they didn't really show off
Venom.
uh Venom, and that I was so hoping that we'd get some sort of interaction, especially with
Hmm.
Peter, I'm sorry, the Tobey Maguire, and that we could have seen them like, what the heck? Because when he mentioned like, oh, he fought like an alien from outer space or something like
Mm-hmm.
that, and then so I think that would have been so cool to see that. But I think that's like one that's like asking too much. It's already so jam packed.
Well,
But
I mean,
I
because
was,
I do suck that it's Tom Hardy was only an end credit scene again, and then he's gone.
yeah, yeah, like I get it, but there's definitely hinting towards like we're gonna definitely see the black suit. We're gonna see Venom
Mhm.
in the MCU. I'm excited for that. But there really wasn't like any, but outside of that Spider-Man, because we end up seeing the Multiverse of Madness for Doctor Strange, his movie. What do you think's going on there? Like, is it something you want to see? Something you kind of don't want
I'm
to see?
gonna. I saw it because I'm assuming that's like the trailer or whatever. I'm not that into it. it.
No,
It didn't like woo, It's just like, oh, all right, I guess I'll go
really.
see. I don't know.
I mean, I'm gonna see it, but I felt like I don't know how I 100% feel about it because it's like after all that adrenaline rush,
I think that's probably why
it's
though,
just like,
right?
woo. Like, yeah, like I'm a little not like tired, but it's like from it, but it's just like, dang, like I'm satisfied, I think. And I'm definitely,
I
because
don't
I
know
feel
why they
like this
showed it
was
the
a good.
trailer though.
Yeah, that was an interesting thing that they showed the trailer. Like, because I thought it was just like a quick second, like they were going to
Hmm.
do like for most end credits. And it was just interesting because it was like, oh, this is a full on trailer. Like, this is kind of interesting. Like, they
Hmm.
normally don't do that. So I don't know. I think maybe what happened is that there was a different end credit scene, and they just didn't use that, and they usually have two, so they just showed the trailer.
Hmm.
So I don't
Because
know, man. I don't know.
I know for that movie they're reshooting it as we speak. So
Yeah, it's to
so something's going
incorporate.
on.
Yeah, I think to reincorporate what happened in Spider-Man,
Hmm.
and because it's just so much that happened. I mean, having everyone forget who Spider-Man is, it changes things up in the MCU a lot. But
Hmm.
where do you think we go from here in the whole MCU?
I don't know. Like this, I don't know. I don't think Spider Man's gonna be included in like the next phase. To be honest, because there's really no
Outside of like
hints.
his solo movies
Yeah,
that.
aside of like he's just like in the background or something, but they didn't really
Mhm.
hint at like him being like an overarching idea of the new phase. I mean, they
Yeah,
kind of just skipped over that.
because the idea of him being the next Tony Stark, right? The
Hmm.
Tony Stark, and I think they wanted him to do that,
Hmm.
but I think that this was the best way for them to walk it back. And yeah, of course, due to outside circumstances, a lot has changed
Hmm.
narratively that they've had to do. Plenty of reshoots and stuff like that. But I don't know, man. I don't see Spider-Man being integral as seen in like the Tony Stark of this next phase, which I'm
Hmm.
kind of glad, because I've always felt like Spider-Man's at his best when he's alone. It's
Yeah.
kind of sad, but I think we get the most powerful like
That was the
emotional
message of the movie.
connection when it's just like it's just Spider-Man, he's slinging his webs and he's trying to do good.
Hmm.
And I don't know who's going to be the next Tony Stark of the MCU. We are getting the Netflix people to come back in. I guess that's
Hmm.
the best way to put it. Again, this is a little bit of spoilers on Hawkeye, but we're seeing Daredevil come back, of course, with this movie. Kingpin, like what's
Hmm.
been revealed in the Hawkeye series, and then hopefully we're gonna get Punisher and Luke Cage because I liked Punisher and Luke Cage. What was the other guy? Iron
Jessica
Fist. I wasn't
Jones.
so much into, and then Jessica Jones. I just didn't watch.
They
It
can
just didn't
recast
really.
Iron Fist, whatever his name is.
Yeah, I would really like to see a recast for Iron Fist. I
To put it
haven't seen
nicely.
enough of Jessica Jones to really like decide,
Hmm.
but yeah, I do think an Iron Fist recast would kind of
That
be
was
nice.
definitely
But
trash.
yeah, like first season I dealt with, but second season was just like I didn't even finish
Didn't even
it.
watch the
So
second one.
Yeah, I would love to see them starting to incorporate like the Fantastic Four, X-Men. I don't know how they're gonna do that. I'm assuming that's why we got to watch Multiverse of Madness, and so they're going to start, and of course, Wanda's gonna be in that, who's very powerful now.
Hmm.
So we're gonna definitely get to see some really cool stuff.
Do you think they're
Moving
gonna
on.
introduce a bunch of characters in the Doctor Strange movie?
I think we're gonna get to see hints or subtleties, but since there's reshoots, I think there are gonna be more characters popping up.
Hmm.
Uh, I don't really see them just fully on throwing in like, oh, X-Men or something like that. But I can see something more like uh Fantastic Four happening,
Hmm.
and
Okay.
then maybe a mutant or two being talked about. Like I can be like, oh, people are starting to get weird powers ever since the blimp, and it's or something like that. Like I can
Hmm.
see
Okay, I
kind
can
of
see that.
kind of something like that happening. I don't know like if it's just gonna be a full on like straight into it. Oh, I think we're kind of getting a soft reboot for the Netflix series stuff, and then we're gonna kind of just get like a brand new, fresh X-Men, Fantastic Four, um, and then whatever else they may have
Hmm.
offer. But that's kind of like what I'm thinking. So I don't know if you have any
I
thoughts
don't.
on
I
that
mean,
though.
I'm not excited for the future of Marvel.
It's like I'm fine with this,
I
because everyone
mean,
just wanted this movie to be good. Everyone just wanted this movie to be good, and Marvel can go downhill at
yeah.
this point. I
See
don't
ya,
want it
Marvel.
to, but it could. Like, because I still love Daredevil, I still love Punisher, I still love all these characters. But like, I'm satisfied with my Spider-Man. But do you think, this is the big question, I guess. Do you think DC can ever catch up, though?
No. I mean,
No, do you think?
I
Because
think
I
in
know
terms.
you're.
I think in terms of the universe now, maybe, but to catch
Mhm.
up to something like this Spider-Man movie, never.
Do you think? I mean, because yeah, like I
And that's
loved
yeah, and true. Black
the
Adam.
DC animated series growing up, and like we got to really see a lot of these characters on the small screen.
Hmm.
I would really love to see that kind of get translated to the big screen.
Yeah.
Because they have the blueprint this whole time for how they should have handled these movies with their
Hmm.
cartoons, which were fantastic, really amazing storylines that were mature and stuff that even for a young audience. And I just feel like they just lost so much opportunity. But yes, Black Adam is going to be a deciding factor to see how well this movie, I'm sorry, to see how well the DC universe will, or cinematic universe, I mean,
Hmm.
will kind of size up. But I don't want to say it's too late for DC, but it
I
just
don't think it's
seems
too
like they're
late.
stuck in their ways. I don't think they really want to actually evolve. Because I don't know, because I know how you remember that there was a lot of controversy surrounding how some of the actors were treated, and so like it's I don't know,
I
man.
think
Like
I
I don't know if
think
they have their stuff together.
if the Matt Reeves Batman succeeds, because that one's coming out next year, and Black
Mhm.
Adam's coming out next year. So if those two do really really good, DC should be okay. But actually, Flashpoint's next year too, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but
So
it's like
those
Flashpoint. What's
three.
Flashpoint like gonna
So
do? What's Flashpoint
I
really
think
gonna
with
do?
like in terms of this, since they're kind of like introducing the multiverse with Marvel, I think Flashpoint just has to reset. Like it's sorry, like it DC just has to start all over. Like if they make The Rock be like a different version of whatever, and like Matt Reeves Batman like a different like universe of DC, and Flashpoint's just like, hey, we're gonna restart everything. It's like then I think maybe that's the best way to go, because recently it's just been absolute trash.
Yeah, because it's like we got the Snyder cut, but it got snuffed even still. We
Mm,
couldn't get to see Green Lantern. We couldn't get to see a lot of stuff that we really wanted to see from they just I don't know. I wouldn't say they don't care, uh, but they definitely don't have their priorities straight.
yeah,
But
and
yeah.
if they don't change, the head honchos of DC or Warner Brothers or whatever,
Mhm.
then yeah, DC is just gonna tank. Like nobody's gonna start watching the movies again, especially because like
Yeah, and,
Aquaman 2 still has Amber Heard
mhm.
after like everything she's done, and it's like people are like literally rioting about it, and like petitioning to get her
Yeah.
out. It's like, why is she still in the movie?
Same thing. I mean, they were copying racists and stuff like that. And then like
Yeah.
Cyborg's character doesn't want to come back because he was like, "Yo, these guys are kind of abusive." And I
And they're
mean,
just
look,
like, nah, it's fine. It's like, what are you guys doing?
yeah. I mean, we didn't get Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart. Just
Ex-
because, they
yeah.
took out Green Lantern and there were so many cool things we could have gone. And it was just like, oh man.
But see, like,
Like,
okay, on the flip side of that, Dwayne the Rock Johnson is now a part of DC, and he
mhm.
has a very loud voice. And I feel like because he is saying like, "Hey, man, I'm gonna bring the best DC movie out there," and like everything's gonna change. It's like maybe because of him, everything can change, and maybe they will
The Rock
change.
is the Messiah for
He
the
is the
DC.
Messiah. See, he's Black Adam and the Messiah. He's the savior of DC
Dude,
universe. Unless it completely
I,
sucks,
yeah,
then
I
get him
mean,
out.
I hope it's good. With how much The Rock has been hyping it up, we're getting Shazam 2. I just want to have them bring back Henry Cavill as Superman. I think it's a dumb
The Rock
decision
already
to want to
said,
let
"I
him
want Henry
go.
Cavill Superman."
Dude, I just want to see a yoked out Henry Cavill,
Mm-hmm.
a yoked out Black Adam
That's
going
right.
at it.
That's right.
And I think that's just the movie they want because I think DC has really strong individual stories that they can
Mm-hmm.
still put up. I think with the Batman movie coming out, it could be potentially a new direction. But I just think that they are too focused because, like, we got the Joker, which was phenomenal. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we have these really good, like, kind of like I want to say like one shots, movies
Mm-hmm.
where it's just like we get one and done, and they're really amazing. But just they have such a hard time putting together a connected universe, and it's not easy. It's
Yeah.
not easy because it is a meticulous and like really like just gruesome task to try to make sure that everything lines up. And even then, Marvel hasn't done it perfectly, but I think they've done it fairly well.
I
And
agree.
I think just DC has to just get new management involved, just somebody
Get
to
Zack Snyder
really
to
take
actually
the
do
reins.
something, you know?
Yeah, they have to find their Kevin Feige, whether if that's in Snyder or if it's The Rock. But it has to be somebody to really step up to the plate and get these characters all together. Because I mean, Suicide Squad 2, really good movie. We're gonna get some shows out of that, and
Mm-hmm.
then it's like, but it's just it's not focused. There isn't a focus. And I think it's just they're putting these movies out to put them out, and they're trying to do like the biggest, best thing they can, but it's just they're not developing these characters properly, and they don't
Mm-hmm.
have the same emotional connection to them. And I think just Marvel's just way ahead of them in the game. I think they can still. I think they got impatient. They jumped the gun, and it just put them farther back. But they just need to sit down, really get things done, one movie at a time, and just bring it all together, and that's it.
That's true. But see, it's like I
Yeah.
don't think Warner Brothers is really going changing, right? Because I haven't heard any news saying that there's going to be different people for at least the DC
Hmm.
side. Maybe Kevin should just take
Yeah.
over DC as well. Let him be in charge of Marvel and DC.
Give all the power to Disney at this point. They practically own
Well,
everything.
think about
My
it. And then
goodness.
Marvel versus DC, like that's the gateway right
Dude,
there.
I
Kevin.
always wanted a Marvel versus DC movie.
Kevin, come on.
Evan, I know
Disney
you're
already
not
has the
listening to
power.
this.
Let's go. The Rock's already a part of Disney, like through everything now. And
Yes.
so, you know what? Let's just, Disney should take over the world.
Oh my goodness.
World
Nah,
peace.
bro. If Superman and Black Adam go all out, bro,
That
like
is gonna be like a wet
that
dream.
would
Like
be just Superman and Black Adam alone can like solo most of the Marvel
oh,
universe. I feel
I would
like,
love that
well,
so
in terms of
much.
like the movie's power scale,
Hmm.
like I think like it depending, but we haven't fully seen Black Adam yet in what he's capable of. But yeah,
But like just imagine they
but
reenact that though, Ricky. Like Shazam,
I don't know.
Superman versus Black Adam. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, definitely something I've always wanted. But I think that's kind of it. I
Yep,
think, yeah,
I think
I
so.
think we kind of said what we all wanted to say.
Go watch the
But yeah,
movie.
yeah, go watch the movie again. I really want to see it again. But yeah, I think we'll do a little sign off right now. All right, guys, thanks for listening. I hope you guys appreciated what we kind of had to say on Spider-Man. I hope you guys enjoyed the movie as much as us. Of course, if you're listening on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast from, liking, subscribing, thumbing it up, leaving a review. We would very much appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing your guys' thoughts. Feel free to hit us up on Instagram, and give us a follow if you're interested in ever listening to us live, which is our Instagram is at Past the Pop Culture. Pretty much everything. We also have a Twitter, which is Past the Pop Culture as well. And we usually let people know when we're starting soon, what we're doing that day. And feel free to jump into one of our streams and let us know what you guys think because we love to talk about this stuff. So, and we also love to converse with fans of everything. Thanks for listening, guys, and appreciate you guys listening. All right.
Peace.